to the company visit, you need to join us to go to business visit. Like I said, this initiative is from the diaspora, and we're not going to stop now. We're going to do a follow-up after this occasion, after these 3 days. We're going to follow up to companies who will be meeting, will be marching to each other. We will follow up to it. And we will not stop this year also. We're going to continue this program next year and the years to come. So if you don't make it today or this period, don't think that's the end of matchmaking. We continue. So also you go with us as we organize the other days. Networking is the most important thing for us, that people coming here will be trying as much as possible to build a network with other companies. And after the network, you follow up. There will be other separate meetings during this week, apart of special meetings for those who will be interested to meet business people from Ghana and also business people from here. Like I said, there are many possibilities. The business from Ghana who are here, I see potentials in them. So those in the Netherlands also, don't let these opportunities pass. Grab this opportunity. The diaspora community is here. The Ghanaian business are here. The Dutch business are here. So these 3 parties, I think we're going to do a successful business the 3 days. We have also our chiefs here, who are also going to talk about a little bit about land acquisition, because without the land, you cannot do easily business in our country. And we have the chiefs here also to a little bit enlighten us on the business acquisitions. So in this case, I will just end up my short welcome note. I say, enjoy your 3-day program, those from Ghana, those here. Have fun, make business, make contacts. And I also like to thank our team for making this day possible for all of us. Have a wonderful day, and may God richly bless you.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you for your kind words, for your welcoming words. And we're also looking at the program, and we're seeing that our schedule is getting a little bit different. And I'm checking the 2 ladies, because we are thinking of switching you, because one of you has to have some other arrangement. But I'm asking Mrs. Doris Brazy, is it okay if...
No,
Yeah? Okay, then we can arrange it just like that, so she won't be too late for her next appointment. Okay, please welcome. I would like to extend a warm welcome to well, I think you do a better job presenting yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then I'll pass on the mic to you. Okay.
Okay. Do you understand me like this? Because then I don't use a microphone.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
No, you didn't need it? Okay. Because, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the city of The Hague, I would like to give you a warm welcome in this beautiful city. I'm Ilja van Haren. I'm the executive director of the West Holland Foreign Investment Agency. And we are an acquisition agency for foreign investors in The Hague. And I represent the municipality of The Hague at this moment. We help foreign investors to find accommodation, international schools, and help them with legal matters. But above all, we try to give them access to market and talent in this region, which is very important. And I'm honored to have been asked to address the Netherlands-Ghana Business Fair. The Hague always had a long and close ties with the Embassy of Ghana. This event underlines our good relations. It is great that we have come together for this in the New World Campus, this building, a breeding ground for innovation. A place is more than symbolic in the partnership between The Hague and its international businesses and organizations. The New World Campus is the place where groundbreaking solutions are found for global issues in the area of international sustainable development, creating innovative solutions for the wicked problems which our society is currently facing. brings together professionals from different fields of study, both online and in the physical campus here in The Hague. This campus functions as an ecosystem where entrepreneurs, knowledge institutions, civil society organizations, local authorities, and investors work together for innovative solutions that have a high sustainability value. Linking knowledge to entrepreneurship and creating impact are leading in the New World Campus. And I think this is a very inspiring environment for this meeting. And I hope this also will be leading during the Netherlands-Ghana Business Fair. The world has never changed so quickly. The focus on international business and international opportunities are enormous. Disruptive technology and the march of robotizations create an unprecedented momentum. We are on the eve of global energy transitions. This is due to the strong population growth and the rise of mega cities in Africa and Asia. Emerging markets are growing that provides plenty of export opportunities. The Hague is an international city of peace and justice. Here you find the seat of government, and the city is globally recognized as the legal capital of the world. Due to the presence of the United Nations institutes and international organizations, we have a great deal of expertise about international relations here. Knowledge institutions, companies and public services intensively work together in this area. Cities are increasingly driving economic development. The migration to the cities is something we are observing in The Hague. We are growing in all respects. The Hague is the third city of the Netherlands, covering an area of 1,000 square kilometers, with 521,000 inhabitants. The city houses over 180 international organizations, and also many multinationals are based here. They all make a major contribution to the city's stable economic basis. Last year we welcomed 49 new foreign businesses and investors to The Hague. This shows that The Hague is an attractive place to open a business for a branch. We have many companies clustered in the fields of energy, technology, IT, telecom, and in connection with The Hague Security Delta, also in the areas of data protection and security. Business services are also strongly represented in The Hague, with pension funds, law firms, insurance companies, and tax consultants. The legal and finance cluster is very strong, and soon there will be coming in the beginning of next year an international hearing center in this city will strengthen our legal and finance sector. But The Hague has more to offer than this. We have a fabulous coastline, for example 3 international renowned museums, the Mauritshuis, the Gemeentemuseum, Panorama Misdag, and it's not surprising that therefore our city ranks among the Netherlands' top 3 tourist destinations. It is becoming increasingly important to take an international approach. In a global economy, regions and businesses have to compete internationally. Research shows that businesses that are active international grow more rapidly. They generate more revenue and employment also grows faster. The number of international active businesses in the Netherlands is growing, not just through import and export, but also in services and foreign investment. Businesses small and large are do that. Small and medium enterprises account for 2/3 of Dutch exports, a much greater percentage than in our neighboring countries. A quarter of the total turnover of SME is earned abroad, and there is potential for further growth. And an international perspective brings many advantages. It gives access to markets, reduces international diversification, and reduces vulnerability to crisis. while companies engaged in the international trade are more likely to survive than those that do not conduct international business. Entrepreneurs are therefore important to the Dutch economy. They provide employment, economic growth, dynamism and innovation. The Hague municipality is faced with the important task of broadening and strengthening the economic base. Among the ways we are doing this is by attracting more visitors, businesses and international conferences, as well as strengthening the economic environment for local business and city residents. The Hague municipality wants to develop an active and consistent approach so that the Hague business leaders know where the opportunities lie. In this way, we can ensure that the number of companies doing international business continues to grow. The municipality works closely with public and private partners in this context. That means more activities in and around The Hague. One of the most important clusters in The Hague is energy. Many energy companies have head offices in The Hague. Of course, Shell is the first name which comes to mind, but also Total, Kuwait and Aramco. And emerging firms, engineering firms, such as CB&I, Schlumberger, Tebodin, and recently Jacobs are in this city. Companies particularly emphasize the fact that The Hague is a real international city. A city with lots of expats, with corresponding facilities such as the numerous international schools. And what's more, Delft University is only 10 minutes away. We have a Leiden University campus right here in the city of The Hague. And of course, the Erasmus and the Leiden University are only 20 minutes away. The TU Delft works together with many other education and research organizations at home and abroad and has a reputation for very high research standards. From The Hague, you can easily reach foreign clients or your international offices. Schiphol and Rotterdam The Hague Airport are only 20 minutes away. In short, The Hague has an ideal business climate. The fact that The Hague is the administrative capital of the Netherlands means that important issues are on the agenda in this city. For example, the importance of the energy transition and the role for residents, company and the government. A difficult and uncertain but necessary process. There are many interests to take into account. Discussions on this subject will certainly be conducted from The Hague, inside and outside our parliament. Finally, dialogue and debate. These are our city strengths. In that environment, you will certainly achieve a good result. That's why I'm very pleased to be here, because Netherlands Ghana Business Fair is a fantastic initiative and one that provides an ideal occasion to investigate and develop opportunities in both cities and both countries. I wish you an inspiring and enjoyable meeting, and I enjoy this conference and I enjoy the city of The Hague. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you a lot, Mrs. van Haren. Even for me, who has been living in the Netherlands for quite a while, I didn't know that much about The Hague. So it's always good to know a little bit more, and you learn every day. Thanks a lot. So I hope you will be able to. You staying a little bit longer with us, or are you?
No, unfortunately, I have another appointment. So
Yeah. Okay. I know.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, once again, thanks for being here with us and enlightening us on the city of The Hague. Okay. Our next speaker is going to enlighten us on doing business in Ghana, and I would like to invite Honorary Doris Brace, Deputy Head of Mission of the Ghana Embassy to The Hague. Please welcome Ms. Brace.
to use the microphone? You need a microphone?
Maybe I can try, but my voice doesn't carry far enough. How is it? Should I continue or I should use the mic?
Use the mic.
I should use the mic. Okay. Sorry.
Just keep it close to you.
Okay. I would like to begin by welcoming on behalf of the Embassy of Ghana and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, welcoming all of you to this function. And also to thank Mr. Vincent Gambra, as well as the Afro-Euro Foundation for organizing this fair. It's very important for us to be able to meet, matchmake, find out what opportunities exist between our two countries for investment. Before I start talking about doing business in Ghana, I just want to highlight some of the advantages that Ghana has, because this is about Ghana, so obviously we also need to touch on why it's important and why we want to invest or to do business with Ghana at this point in time. Now, one of the things we always highlight is the stability of our politics, the stable democratic environment that we have and have enjoyed since '92, when the country returned to democratic government. Last year, we had our 7th consecutive elections. It was very peaceful, I'm sure most of you know. Now, that stability, of course, guarantees your investment. It guarantees whatever money you put in the country, because you know that there aren't going to be any shocks, any upsets, any unpredictability that is going to affect whatever you have put inside. So we always like to talk about that. It's important for us. Ghana also is West Africa's 2nd largest economy and market, after, of course, our giant neighbors, Nigeria. The market in Ghana also gives you access to 300 million population, so it's huge. If you're thinking of setting up in Ghana, don't think only of Ghana, but think of the opportunity to expand to the other countries in the sub-region. It's also the best destination for ease of doing business, as captured by the World Doing Business Report in West Africa, as captured by the World Doing Business Report of 2014. Ghana is named among the top 5 destinations for doing business in sub-Saharan Africa. There is easy flight connections to Europe, the Middle East, the Americas, and Asia. And it also provides a highly skilled and trainable labor force.
Sorry? You sent it this morning. I can show it, it's okay.
Maybe in order to do it quickly.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Maybe we can do it in print.
Yeah. Now, this presentation is targeted more at the Ghanaians in the diaspora who want to go to do business in Ghana, as well as the Dutch investors. Because those of you coming from Ghana, you know the environment, so it's not really for your benefit, of course, that you're here. If you have any input to make, I'll be happy, to listen to what you have to say as well. Now, the important thing about the investment climate in Ghana right now is we have a government that is very pro-business and particularly pro-private sector. As our president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, put it recently, he says his government will provide vision and direction and shine the light down the path of entrepreneurs and farmers. We are indeed counting on a vibrant private sector to drive growth and create jobs. There could not be a better opportunity to make in Ghana and to make it in Ghana than now. Ghana is open for business. That's how he puts it. So that captures for you the investment climate and the government that is driving this new energized private sector that we all want to be part of. Now, the investment promotion institutions that we have, at the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, which is a government agency that promotes, coordinates, and facilitates investment in the economy. These are the institutions you need to know if you want to invest in Ghana. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center, we have the Ghana Free Zones Board, which is also set up for the promotion of economic development to provide for the regulation and activities in the free zones and for related purposes. Now, these free zones exist all over the country. They are areas set aside for investment purposes, and you can produce and export from these zones. We have the Minerals Commission, we have the Petroleum Commission, and we have the implementing agencies like the Bank of Ghana, the Ghana Export Promotion Agency, the Ghana Immigration Service, the Registrar General's Department, and the Ghana Standards Authority. Now, we also have a one-stop shop facility under the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, where you can do all your registration. So you don't need to go to the Registrar General to go from institution to institution trying to get your documentation to set up your business. You can do all of that from the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. We have private sector associations as well, such as the Private Enterprise Foundation, Federation, the PEF, which services the development needs of the private sector through advocacy for efficient allocation of the country's resources and provision of requisite business development support services for a sustainable private sector-led national economic development. We also have the Association of Ghana Industries, that's the AGI, which also advocates for policies that advance the growth and development of industries. We have the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, which serves as the voice of the business community, promotes and protects the interests of members by fostering ethical practices in commerce, trade, and services through advocacy and ensuring adherence to quality. And then the Ghana Chamber of Mines. The Ghana Chamber of Mines, which represents the collective interests of companies involved in mineral exploration, production, and processing in Ghana. And for the Dutch and also Ghanaians from here who go to Ghana, we also have the Ghana Netherlands Business and Cultural Council, the GNBCC, which also provides a lot of support for Ghanaian and Dutch businesses.
Been working on
It's here.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's here.
Yeah,
So you
okay.
just tell us when we need to go to the
I can go to the next one,
next one. Yeah.
and then the next. Okay, we can leave it here. Now, the business reforms that have taken place in recent times are the reduction in documentary and border compliance time for importation, the upgrading of the infrastructure at the Tema port, streamlining process for acquiring construction permits, and then removal of the minimum equity for manufacturing and export trade companies under the GIPC Act 865. Now, this is the economic outlook, which is presented here for easy digestion. It's from 2016, from the Ghana Statistical Service. The total GDP growth, the non-oil GDP, investments, total, the foreign component, the local component, total trade, other macroeconomic figures, as well as the daily minimum wage. Now, this is our economic history. We have already spoken a little bit about that. Ghana is West Africa's second largest economy and market. It has averaged a growth rate of 6.9 over the last 8 years. Per capita GDP is 1,328. It's 10th in Sub-Saharan Africa in ease of doing business rank, that is 2017. And then 16th in Africa on the Global Competitiveness Report. Now, these are the Dutch investments in Ghana in the various sectors. The service sector is big, followed by manufacturing. Agric, not too much, and I think I have to talk a little bit more about agri, because it's one area that government is pushing very strongly for more investment, because as our president put it, when you produce, you also grow, you also provide jobs for people. So it serves a dual purpose of food production as well as also providing jobs, which is very important because of the unemployment rate we have in Ghana. And that is why the current government came out with what they call the Planting for Food and Jobs. It's a new policy that is aimed at galvanizing the agri sector, galvanizing people to go into the agri sector in a manner similar to what we had in the 70s, when we had a policy called the Operation Feed Yourself, where every citizen was encouraged to go into farming on a small scale, on a big scale, whatever, just grow food. And that is the sort of policy that the government has come out with. And it has also set aside money and inputs, agricultural inputs, to help this sector. So it's an area that is a top priority for the country. Currently, we don't have too many Dutch people in agri, but I'll encourage you to go into it, as well as agribusiness, because we have a situation where our farmers produce, and the produce is not able to get to the consumers in time. They end up perishing, people lose their investment. I remember years ago I saw a headline where somebody said, how can we stop our farmers from committing suicide? Which was very depressing, because apparently some take loans and plant, especially the tomato industry in the north. And then when harvest time comes around, they lose their produce because it doesn't get to the market on time. And some of them become so desperate because they've taken bank loans, they need to pay back. They actually commit suicide. That was how bad it was in the past. Hopefully we want to arrest this sort of thing. And so, yes, agribusiness is important. It's closely linked to the drive to improve agricultural production, because you don't only produce, but you must have a way of preserving, adding value to it, making sure that it reaches the people. And that is why the policy on growing for food and jobs is closely linked to another policy called the One District, One Factory, where the current government hopes to establish a district in each of our over 200 districts. Many of these districts are going to be agribusiness, because agriculture still is the largest employer of the people in Ghana. About 51% of the people are in agri production. And one way of making sure that their labors don't go waste is that we take this produce and we are able to transform them into products that can reach the consumers very quickly. And that is why agribusiness go together. You produce, and then you're also able to add value to it very quickly. Now that also brings up the packaging sector. It's something that we vitally need in Ghana as well, because the more we manufacture, the more we need to be able to package them. And unfortunately, we don't have too many companies in that area. A lot of the packaging material are being imported. And so some of these factories that can be established under the One District, One Factory policy could also look at the manufacturing sector, could look at the packaging industry in particular, because that is something that will also help to push the agri sector. So these are the areas we have Dutch investments. And some of the Dutch investments in Ghana are the following. We know the big ones, ALM, Heineken, Philips, and so on, but these are some of the companies we have currently. The critical sectors of investment, we've already spoken about agri and agro-processing, but there's also energy, there is infrastructure, there is tourism, there's financial technology, oil and gas, education and health services. Ghana is rapidly becoming a place where people want to educate their children, because we have a very stable political environment. So it attracts a lot of students from all over West Africa, and incidentally, the rest of Africa. Because I know people from Gabon, from Central African Republic, from Congo, from Malawi, Angola, Zimbabwe, who come and study in Ghana. So that also offers opportunity for investment, for people who want to set up institutions in various sectors, ICT, whatever, even skills training, because it's something we also need for the young people. All these present opportunities. The previous one, for example. The energy sector is also very important. Recently, we've had energy crisis in Ghana, where people's businesses have gone under because there hasn't been constant energy supply to power their businesses. Businesses as modest as hairdressing salons, as tailoring shops, as barbering shops, they all suffered. So we need more energy. We need to increase our energy output, and that offers an excellent opportunity. The tourism industry is also growing rapidly. More and more people are coming to Ghana, so there's more need for tourist attractions, for cheaper budget hotels, because what we tend to have in Ghana is the very expensive ones, which tend to be out of reach. And then at the other end, you have the very, very low budget ones. But if you can have something in the middle, something that...
The 3-star hotel.
Exactly. That is also an area that offers opportunities for us. Oil and gas is there, and then health services as well. So these are your basic steps to investing in Ghana. You register with the Registrar General. You try to meet the minimum equity contribution, and then you register with, actually you can do all that at the GIPC, as I mentioned earlier, because now it provides what we call a one-stop shop, where registration and everything can be done. These are the current tax rates. For the general corporate tax, companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, the free zones enterprises, manufacturing companies, those located in Tema, in Accra and Tema, those located in the other capitals, and then outside the regional capitals. So the more you move outside of Accra, the less tax you pay, and that gives incentive for people to set up in other areas of the country, so that the concentration is not all on the capital. Remember, we have a very young population, and all of them are drifting to the urban areas because they can't get jobs where they are. So if you provide opportunities for them in the other regional capitals, in the other urban and rural areas, it helps them, it helps the country, and it also helps you because you pay a lower tax if you do that. So yes, the tax code continues. Now these are some of the incentives and guarantees that you get. Custom duties exemptions, automatic immigrant quotas, relief from double taxation, repatriation of dividends and net profit, transfer of funds in respect of servicing of foreign loans, guarantee against expropriation, remittance of proceeds in case of the sale of or liquidation of investment, and then for other strategic investment incentives. Yeah, so to conclude, Ghana is open for business. There is strong government support for investors, and I can't emphasize that enough. And there's a transparent and functional legal framework to ensure the success of every investment. So let me take this opportunity to wish you wonderful matchmaking processes. I hope that everybody goes away with one concrete proposal or the other, and that this fair bears fruit for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your great story. A lot of information, but I think it puts people on track, or maybe off track, but that's okay. That's okay. It gives you some more insights and opportunities, especially when it comes to the agricultural sector. Our next speaker, that will be me, of course. So, okay. let me step forward and introduce myself. I'm Angela Nascimento. I'm a member of the organizing team, and I'm also within AfroEuro responsible for the Young Professional Buddy program. And as I'm standing here, I feel honored and humbled to have been a mentor and coach to some of my few Afropreneurs, as I call them. So I would like to invite them on the stage. Edwin, please join me. Kojo, please join me. Nina, please join me. And I would like you to come stand around me, because you never do it alone. And I won't be the one telling this story. I will only say a few small words, starting with this. If I show you this, what do you think?
So I'll just give you a small, I guess, brief explanation of the symbolism of a baobab tree and how important it is to us Afropreneurs. It's a term that we've come up with to describe the importance of entrepreneurship and social impact to African entrepreneurs. The baobab, as you can see, is a very small seed, but it represents longevity, it represents consistency and continuity, it represents just how dynamic African economies and African entrepreneurs have to be to provide the needs and wants of the future generations of Africans. I don't know if we have any images of a fully grown baobab tree, but it's a tree that can grow for hundreds of years. And from this, you know, some of the stems are actually huge, almost the size of this thing. But it all starts from this. It all starts from a tiny seed like this. It's used for medicine, it's used for food, it's used for so many things, and it's one of the symbols of African entrepreneurship that we've used.
That we've come up with. Okay, thank you very much. Please meet Edwin, one of the entrepreneurs. Then I would like to pass the mic to Nina. Nina, please tell me, how did you come to engage within the Young Buddy program, and what has it done for you?
Yeah, I've gone to Ghana last year to do an internship there for my study program, International Public Management. From there, I basically brought home some bags, some fashion items from Ghana, made by a woman over there. And I thought about starting up a business here by selling those products. So I'm busy doing that. And next to that, I'm still busy with my study, of course. So I'm looking to do my internship next year in Ghana again, at the CSR department of some company, to expand my knowledge about how to do business in Ghana and eventually can benefit my own company, I hope. So that's basically what brought me to this program.
Okay. Thank you, Nina. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Last but not least, someone who is going to enlighten us on a part of the Buddy program is Kojo. Kojo, I have a question for you. What did you think when you started, and where are you today when it comes to your business ideas?
Thank you. Well, when I started, I had very big expectations about it because I didn't really know everything about much things about business. But as I kept attending the Young Buddy program of AfroEuro, and I want to give a thank you to Mr. Vincent Gambra. He was the one that introduced me to the program. I think it's very educative, and from the beginning until now, I see that it has boosted my vision on how you can start a business and how you on the long run the things you can do and the people you can meet and everything around it. So I'm very thankful for this day also.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kojo. Thank you very much. Well, I think you've been able to hear in a nutshell what this program is all about. It's actually starting with all the baobab seeds we have, who have a passion for business and a passion for Ghana, but also extending their business. And you've seen 3 of them, but there are more of those entrepreneurs. And what we've been doing is actually to visualize where they are and where they want to go. When I look, for instance, at Isaiah is not here right now, but he has this wonderful idea of becoming a social entrepreneur, and he wants to knock NGOs like Oxfam out of the market. Well, I think that's very ambitious and inspiring thing to do. When I look at Linford, for example, then it's not here, Linford, but it's always good to see what they want to do and also the people who inspire them. And what comes to my mind is Louis. Louis is one of our entrepreneurs who is a little bit further. He has a cleaning business here in Holland and he wants to extend that to Ghana. And he's really doing a great job. And I would like to ask your support for all those entrepreneurs. And they're here also on a mission, on an assignment to matchmake, to find a buddy. So please help them to take the next step in making Africa and Ghana great again. So I would like to thank you once again for being here and helping us out to grow together. Okay, thanks a lot. We've come to the next, 10 minutes. Yeah, we have a 10-minute break. So there's some coffee, cookies and tea, and in the meantime we'll set up the place a little bit different, and we expect you to be back in 10 minutes. Then we continue with the next part of our program. Okay, enjoy your 10 minutes with coffee and tea.